Here we go.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get the balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Podchaser, iTunes, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Audible, Tiki Live, Rumble, and more. Why? Because I want the maximum splatter zone for this show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and callers and guests to that. And it is every Tuesday and Thursday when I love to interact with you. Now that I have wonderful sound engineers in the studio, we have Sam with us today. And that way you can actually call in. And I would like someone to help me out because we're testing a new phone line because the 888 one was not connecting to my StreamYard. So if I know there's eyeballs there, I'm going to say and put this in the chat, 605-562-8400, access code 438-5644. So, and pound. And then you'll be coming into my studio. And I don't know why it's not coming up for Facebook, but hopefully you just heard that. And then you can, oh, there it is. It's coming up now. And if you'd like to actually come into the studio and give your compliment or commercial, then I'm also putting up a new link so that you can come backstage here with me on camera. And this is the wonderful thing about technology. And it is, as per our habit, good life habit, to start every day with I was going to say compliment. We're trying this new phone line. There's a little bit of an echo, so I apologize. So it's funny hearing myself in stereo, but I would like to start as per usual with Sam, who is kind enough to take a bite of a gratitude sandwich with me in the morning when he's working my boards. So that's how we're going to start. And specifically, if you're just tuning in for the first time, what's a gratitude sandwich? It's a Happy 88 tool that comes out of my book, 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. And I have some exciting news about some offerings that are new on my website just for you. And it's a tool that will help keep you 88% happy. And that is in the morning, before you pick this up, okay, before you start doing this, before you start exercising your thumb, I ask you to specifically put out gratitudes. So Dr. Wayne Dyer says 5 in the morning. I say 8 because I'm an overachiever, and 8 is a lucky number in Chinese. So we do 8 specific gratitudes in the morning, and then at night we do 8 specific appreciations for what you're grateful for. All right, Sam, are you ready? All right, here we go. Let's see. And before I do that, I see some eyeballs. I would love it, and I have a feeling it's some of my regulars. If you could call in 605-562-8400 and use access code 4385644. That's on the chat, so you can write it down there or just use that number to call in. We're going to test that line, and you can join in on the gratitudes. All right, here we go. My first gratitude is that I have the most amazingly comfortable bed and comforter that it's so delicious to get in my bed and have a good night's sleep. So I'm super grateful for that. Sam? Beautiful. And I'm grateful that the planets did not crash into each other last night, so I'm alive for one more day for sure to have fun. Sam? Awesome. I am grateful that I've had a lot of amazing things happen in my life so far on this joyride of life. There's been so many great stops, and I know that for the next 8,800 days, without giving away how old I am, I'm ageless. I have about, I'm guessing, 8,800 days left if I live to the average expected lifespan to continue to have amazing stops on the joyride of my life. I think is that 3? Okay. Go ahead, Sam. Awesome. And I am grateful that I have already had kids, so I don't have to worry about that. I have 2 beautiful daughters, and a shout out to my younger one who's graduating this year from UC Davis. My older one graduated from Cornell during the pandemic, which was not fun, but I'm so grateful that both of them are done, going to be done this year, and they're on their way. And I'm so grateful that they grew up with gratitudes. I don't know if I told you that, Sam. For those of you who are parents, and you can think about this, Sam, later on, but as early as the age of 4, I advise parents that when they're driving their kids to school, that they start this little gratitude exercise, and you just ask the kids, what are you grateful for? 3 things. And then when they're a little older, I add in appreciations. What are, 3 things that you appreciate. 1 about yourself, 1 about the person riding with you, and 1 of the person driving. That's because there were 3 of us in our family. And honestly, I credit that exercise for the very kind nature that both of them have. Their considerate nature is because they're looking at something positive. So does that make sense, Sam? Okay, awesome. And there is an echo because I have you on the other phone line to try to make this work, but it sounds like it's not working. So I'm going to drop that call. Let's see. We are definitely trying to work our technology so that it can do the best that it can do. But we're up against a break coming up, but don't go away. We're going to be right back with the question that came in for today was, why is it so hard for me to take compliments? Because today is compliment day, and all that means is I want you to chat a compliment that you have for someone else, or call in to that number. Although I just hung up on that number, but we'll do it. We'll reconnect with that number, and I want you to think about a compliment that you can give someone else. Now, I've also invited some of the hosts at KCAA, and I don't know if they got the message in time, but we'll do this again on Tuesday to come and give a little commercial about their show. If you also have a product, service, or something that you would like to test out a 30-second commercial, I time you, as Sam did it last week. And I think he said he learned something. So we'll do a 30-second commercial for what you are. And then because I do a course called Be the Best That You Can Be and Broadcast It, I will give you my 8 cents worth of advice on how to snazzy up your commercial, which is something that I do. All right, so that's when we come back, and we're going to go through a tool that I have called the insulting game. So one of the things, one of the reasons why we have a hard time with compliments is we've got insults running in your head. So if you're a person that has 99 compliments and 1 insult, and you focus not on the majority of the compliments, but then the insult, then this answer to the question of the day is for you. When we come back, don't go away on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pay's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
And today's show is sponsored by my friend Joe at Collision Repair Consultants. Take a listen. So what do you do when you have an accident that makes a mess of your car? My go-to shop is Collision Repair Consultants, and they are actually on the preferred list of my insurance company, which makes it even better. Joe, Alex, Michelle, and all the guys will do their best to make the accident as hassle-free and pain-free as possible, with a warranty and guarantee for their work for life. If you are looking for a great body shop, go to Collision Repair Consultants and tell them that Dr. Marissa sent you. Give them a call at 562-218-8900. That's 562-218-8900. Tell them Dr. Marissa sent you.
Welcome to Balanced Tai Chi Go. My name is Dr. Marissa Pay. We will be slow dancing with the universe in a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. As a corporate psychologist, I created this practice in response to my life and those of my clients. We were professional, high achievement-oriented, multitasking control freaks, and exhausted. No matter how many successes, it was never enough. That, coupled with a painful life experience, led me on a quest to find another way to live and back to my Chinese roots. If you practice regularly, you will be in a place of balance and inner peace, the way we were created. 谢谢。
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, including my YouTube channel, where I hope you are streaming live right now. I see a bunch of eyeballs, so I know streamers are here from somewhere. But this is the cool thing about having a live engineer in the studio and through StreamYard now, that I can actually interact with you. So that means you have to do your job and interact with me by typing in the comment section, in the chat, as well as calling in. We're trying a new number. It's 605-562-8400. It's in the chat. Access code 4385644. I know it's a mouthful, but hopefully in time that will be on your auto dial so you can come and interact with me. And before we go to the insulting game, which is one of my Happy 88 tools that helps us accept compliments better, I did want to point out that the Asian Oprah giveaway today is another pair of tickets to an amazing show that is going to happen very well. It's in a month, but it's well worth getting prepared for. If you missed my interview with magician, illusionist, and creator of Beyond Illusion, Sharouz, then go to my YouTube channel, where you free subscribe and you get access to all of my past shows, as well as my interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, and a whole host of other great people. Oh, and Carol Baskin, Tiger King, which I'm going to comment on at the end of the show, because some people are asking me, how could I have interviewed someone who fed her husband to the tigers? So I'm going to comment on that at the end. But I have a little promo for you to take a look at, and then I'll tell you how to get the Asian Oprah giveaway tickets, pair of tickets to the show Beyond Illusion. Was that cool or what? So I'm going to be there, and I'm giving another pair of tickets to someone who would like to go. It is on May 20th. You can get the tickets at the Saban Theater. You can call there and give them a promo code SHAH, as well as online, and it's a pretty long link, so I'm going to put that in the chat for you. And it was on my social yesterday, Doc Balance on Instagram, Dr. Marissa everywhere else. It's going to be a great show. So a pair of tickets, the first pair of tickets went to winners Rhonda and her friend. And so this is the second pair that's going. So you get tickets, and you get tickets to Beyond Illusion, Magic Illusion, dance, colors. It's going to be spectacular at the Saban Theater. So there's nothing better than coming back to the arts with a very one-of-a-kind, exciting, unique show. So I will put that link in the chat when I go on break, and so you can go and enjoy that show. But the first person to go to drmarissa.life and put in Beyond Illusion 2. The first pair went Beyond Illusion. This is the second pair, Beyond Illusion 2. And then I'll contact you. That's drmarissa.life, subject line, Beyond Illusion 2 is the code there. And don't forget, before April 15th, if you go buy the tickets, if you don't win, use SHAAH, Shaw, promo code for 15% off. Thank you so much, Sharuz, for blessing us with the Asian Oprah giveaway. All right, now back to how do we take compliments better? So usually when someone is a perfectionist, like I am, is when we have difficulties taking compliments, because no matter how much praise you get, no matter how much approval you get, no matter how many people tell you things are great, then you're still thinking about what's wrong. You're still thinking about why, but why did that person insult me? And I'm definitely guilty of that. Like because I'm in the public eye, I'll have a lot of people give me compliments and tell me, how good I am and how wonderful. And yet, if I have one person bash me, and when I interviewed Carol Baskin, I had a lot of hate on my YouTube. I even got it from friends and family who said, my daughter said, how can you interview a killer? And I had to, just take a breath, not react, not respond. And at that point, I add those to my insult list. So what's an insult list? It's an exercise from this book, 8 Ways to Happiness, where I ask you to actually put on paper all of the things that you have going through your head that are insults. Now, that sounds counterintuitive because you're trying not to think about it. You're trying not to remember bad things, but it goes on in your head over and over and over like a hamster wheel. So, you're going to think about it whether you think you're going to think about it or not. It's something that haunts you. So if something haunts you, then it's better to actually acknowledge it so you can get it out. And then I have a little list of all the things that have haunted me on my insulting game list. So just for fun, I don't know if you're still there, Sam. Oh, good. We have Dee Knoll in here. I would like you to, I have a feeling she's going to win the tickets, but here's the link I'm putting up to buy the tickets. So that is now on the chat. So you have a direct link there. Dee Knoll, you can also chime in. And Sam, if you want to, what are some of the things that you don't want to think about? What are some of the things that people have said? Maybe early in your life, you had someone very critical. What are some of the things that you don't want to remember, but when bad things happen or you get an insult, it triggers you to thinking about things that you don't like. And Dee Knoll, what I'd love you to do is to call in, and we're going to test this new conference line for callers. If you wouldn't mind, Dee, to call 605-562-8400 and then use access code 4385644#. then you'll be connected with Sam and I, and then we'll go through this insult exercise. So hopefully you have time to do that. And I'll just start with some of my insults that I got when I was young by people who probably shouldn't have said it, but they did the best that they could. But those insults continue to haunt me. Okay, so one is you're fat, you're ugly, you're clumsy, people don't like you. And now I'm going to add on some of the things that have been insults in the last maybe, well, I'm ageless, so I can't say how. You almost caught me. But let's see, I've had the insult of you're not all that said to me. I've had people say you're not as popular as you think you are. I've had people say you're just a pretender. You're just a wannabe. You talk way too much. That still gets said. And I'm a talk show host, so it is kind of my occupational hazard. That's my defense. But here's the deal. When you are writing down your insults and you actually write them down, then you have them out. So whenever it comes back into your head, and let's say I wake up and I have a fat and ugly attack. So I don't know about you, sometimes I wake up and nothing's happened, but I will, catch a glimpse of myself naked in the mirror, and then the insults start coming. You've let yourself go, you're fat, you're unattractive. So when that happens, instead of ruining my day, I pull out my insult list and I go down my insult list and I go, oh, is fat down here? Yes, it's here. I see it. It's number 3 on the list. So thank you very much, Miss Critic. And I call my critic Rose. I actually have a name for that critical voice in my head. And guess what my mom's name was? Yes, Rose. And like I said, she did the best that she could. If she could have done better, she would have, but she didn't. And her mom criticized her. So a lot of the shiitake that we get from primary caretakers in our life is usually because they just repeat what they experienced. So when I tell my critic, Rose, thank you very much for the input, for the feedback, but you've already said this before. It's number 3 on the list, and you're welcome to come up with a new insult, but you can't give me something that you've already told me. I love you very much. Thank you for letting me know, but I got this. And have a seat in the passenger seat of my life car, because you're driving us off of a cliff. If I keep listening to you and what you are criticizing me about, I'm going to go crazy. And guess what? You're not the boss of me. I, Balance Center Dr. Marissa, is the boss of me. So there's a little dialogue that goes on that allows us to stay out of the insult and into the compliment, because in the taking a bite of a gratitude sandwich, at the end of the day, we're focused and we exercise the muscle of choosing to focus on those things that are good about us instead of replaying that tape of the insults. Does that make sense? So that's the kind of work, that's the Blisscipline, that's from my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, his name for discipline is discipline. And it's something that we can get better at. You know, a lot of us through the pandemic are really not feeling good about life or ourselves. And some of us go to the thing that will numb us, food, drink, drugs, so that we don't have to feel bad. But the reality is we can be our own mental health caretaker and exercise our ability to focus on what is working in our life, what is good about ourselves. We can compliment ourselves. We can approve of ourselves instead of letting the critic take over and always think about the bad things. Yes, we all lost money in the pandemic. Yes, we all lost something in the pandemic that we'll probably never get back. But guess what? It happened to all of us to some extent or the other. And we don't have to drag all of that loss into our present. We can focus on the compliments that we give ourselves and others. Does that make sense? Yes? Awesome. All right. And I went over. We're going to go to break right now and hear some more from those people who make it possible to be on the air, helping both the station, that is the #1 talk news station in the IE, as well as this, the #1 show at 8 a.m. in the IE. And I am so grateful that you all will know that if you want to be on this show, if you want to sponsor the show and have a commercial, you can. For very affordable rates, we just go through a little screening process to make sure what you're doing and what you're saying and the product or service or your book aligns with my show. And then for very affordable rates, you too can be a sponsor of this show. So that's here. Just go to drmarissa.life, and that'll be the easiest way to get in touch with me. You can book some time to chat with me at drmarissa1.youcanbook.me. And I'm getting the sign that absolutely. Oh, I got some comments here. Sam, you're not supposed to put in the private chat. You put it in the public chat, but he said, that is such a hard thought. Ha ha. Fake it till you make it, and you made it. Thank you. There's a compliment right there from Sam. All right, we'll be right back with more on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Hi, my name's Dr. Marissa. You know me as the Asian Oprah and the celebrity host producer of your morning drive time show, 8 a.m., called Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And I'm on a happy 88 mission. That's 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. And therefore, I'm delighted to tell you we're going to start something new that balances out all the bad news and gives you something to smile about. Yes, I'm starting a compliment line. So if there's a compliment that you want to pay someone, maybe your boss, maybe that cute person that you've got your eye on, then you can do so by calling 888-909-1050 and tell my screener that I have a compliment for Dr. Marissa. So I'll put you on so you can give that compliment and feel good about giving it, and the person receiving will feel good as well. There's more than one way to be happy with Dr. Marissa. Keep it tuned here to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show at 8 a.m. weekday mornings.
here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Want to find happiness? Well, it's looking for you. 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are by Dr. Marissa Pay is a self-help book on steroids with practical concepts and exercise that will help you find the love you've been looking for inside yourself. It's a cross between I'm okay and you're okay, and you're still okay. And if you do the exercises, you will never hate yourself the same way again. For an autographed copy of this #1 bestseller, go to www.drmarissa.life or just order at Target, Walmart, and Amazon today. You can choose happiness because pain in life is mandatory, but suffering is optional. Alrighty.
Are we coming? And we'll come back in.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5. It's NBC, CNBC, and NBC Sports News Channel, KCAA, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Podchaser, Amazon Music, Audible, iTunes, TuneIn, TE Live, and Rumble, and more. Actually, there's I think 10 more, but I keep trying to add one every time. And I'm so glad that you're tuned into the show about hope and happiness. It is show number 675. Yes, I am coming up on 9 years on the air, on camera, and I am so grateful for that. I can't believe it. It started with a voice that said radio at 4:30 in the morning, and it has morphed into this amazing platform where I get to splatter more hope and happiness on you and fulfill my Happy 88 mission. 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. And I'm hoping, Sam, as we have a caller on the line, we're trying something new here with the conference line so that we can pipe someone in. And Sam, I'm going to turn this up to see what happens. Hello? Welcome to the show. Hi. And who's calling and from where? Even though I know. Fabulous. And Sam, are we both coming in clear? Let's see. I don't know if Sam can also, no, maybe he's not there. So maybe you are not live yet. So I'm going to give him a chance to figure it out. And while we're waiting, oh, there's a private chat. Access code is invalid. So it's, let's go back here. He's going to have to try again. Bear with us as we try new technology here. The access code, I'm going to do this for him. There it is. And as we're stalling, I'm going to do what I was going to do later on in the show, but we're almost to the time anyways. So for those of you who don't understand why I actually interviewed Carol Baskin from Tiger King and don't understand why I would interview someone who is accused, or Tiger King, the series made it very believable that she fed her second husband to the tigers. I interviewed her, and when I went to interview her, I was like you. I really thought she was guilty. There was something about the way that she was depicted, the way that she spoke, the way that they cut her footage up really made her a believable killer of her husband. And when I began to interview her, and those of you who saw it on YouTube, it's still available there. I want you to look at it. And oh, we've got a big echo here. I'm going to turn this down. When I looked at, when I started talking to her, I actually asked her point blank, "Did you kill your husband?" And it is kind of funny. I'll let you watch the response to that. But there were two things that really made me change my mind. And I changed it. I went 180 degree to the end of the interview. Two things. So if you haven't watched Joe versus Carol, it's by another filmmaker, not obviously Tiger King's, and watch Tiger King 2. There's a Homeland Security document that says he's alive and well. My younger daughter actually told me that there's some investigation now against him being like a Jeffrey Epstein. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna accuse, but you get my drift. That's his now investigation that's going on. As well, Joe Exotic's niece took her to the land and had him showed where the graves were, and they dug up the graves. And this is in Joe versus Carol, where they show it, and they did find many, many, many young tiger bones. And the saddest part is they were all missing teeth because they could still sell them. So as she suspected and tried to alert and change the legislation, these tiger owners were, capitalizing on the cuteness until they got too big, and then they had to kill the tiger because they ate too much or too hard to upkeep, and took their teeth and buried them. So there's plenty of evidence now. But why would Tiger King do that? So this is the biggest reason of why I changed my mind is she explained that the Cove and Blackfish, and you remember I had Rick O'Barry, the main person in the Cove, a CNN show. Blackfish showed about the killer whale, and the Cove showed about it was an expose, showed the slaughter of dolphins in Taiji, Japan. Blackfish was an expose for Marineland and SeaWorld and all those places that have marine mammals in captivity and how it destroys them. So that's originally what Tiger King was supposed to be, 5 years of taping. And then CNN didn't buy it. So they had to do something to make it watchable, and it became like the pandemic sensation. So for those reasons is why I changed my mind. And so I'm hoping you'll watch the interview because she's still getting death threats. I got a lot of negative comments when I did the interview and when I showed it. So there's my explanation. That's mostly for my older daughter and her friends. I ran into one of her friends, and she was saying the same thing. How could you have interviewed her? So hopefully that will clear things up. All right, now I think that Sam's in and Dino's in. Dino, welcome to the show. And we have an echo on my end, but I'm not going to worry about it because you can hear me. And Sam, is she clear? All right, it's working. She's clear. Now I'm going to turn your volume all the way off. Otherwise, there's going to be an echo. But I am so glad that the line works. And we were talking about insults earlier. So when I was talking about the insulting game, how did you react to that? Uh-huh. Great, great. Um, I'm glad, and I think it's so important for us to remember that we are not the insult. That when we get insults, it is it's just an insult. I think that we also, because we're not taught how to approve of ourselves when we grow up, we're not taught how to really love ourselves. We're told, don't think too much of yourself. In Chinese and Japanese, there's a saying, when the nail that stands up is hammered down, you're not all that. Just don't speak unless you're spoken to. You know your place. So even when we're from a healthy childhood, those messages sort of raise us to be non-affirming. Does that make sense? Yeah, I can remember, this is my worst insult, and I can't. I usually took me a long time to actually talk about this insult because it was just so painful. Actually, there's two of them. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm living proof that you can have like the worst things said to you and you can still be happy 88% of the time. And hopefully you know that with the tool, the insulting game, you are really able to just be, as the beautiful Baptiste Grammy Award comment, hashtag be you. And I know that I'm 88% fabulous. I'm not 100% fabulous, but I'm 88% fabulous. And 12% of the time I do things and say things that are not great, and they probably will lead to an insult. And so when I was 14 and I was going to school, this guy drove by me in a bike and looked at me. And at 14, I was very heavy. I had zits all over my face and were not attractive, really thick Coke bottom glasses. And he drove by me and he goes, ugly. And that would just play in my head for so long until I used this tool to go, okay, well, that, I kind of was not that attractive then. But that's just a very small moment in my life. And then the worst one is when I was teaching at UCLA in the MBA program. And it was my probably I taught for like 10 years in grad school. I started over in Europe with Boston University and European Business School. So by the time I got to UCLA, I was an okay professor. I had learned from my mistakes, and I got a lot of compliments, and people were like, "Oh, you're so interesting," and make it the subject come alive, and blah blah blah. And I had a lot of compliments, and then I had one guy on my feedback evaluation at the end of the quarter write down, "I would rather chew glass than listen to another one of Dr. Pei's lectures." Do you know? Right? So, I for years, people ask me why I retired from teaching. And that was one of the reasons. It was a horrible statement that continued to haunt me. And it wasn't until I did what I'm asking everyone to do, which is 1, you are not the insult. 2, that your critic's going to take that and beat you over the head. And 3, that you're not always fabulous and you're not always going to be the compliment for someone else. I'm going to be an insult for some people because you can't make everybody happy. And so when that happens, because I'm in the public eye and I do get insults on my social media and I do get insults on my YouTube, and it used to take me down because I'd think about it and ruminate about it. Now I just thank people for their feedback and then I remove the comment, and if there's something in there that is something for me to take and be better. In the early days of my shows, I was talking too much. And now I try not to talk as much except when I'm doing a monologue, which I do sometimes. But it's such a freeing exercise, the insult game. Does that make sense? Do you know? Thank you for being open and receptive to it. So we're coming up at the end of the show. Dino, what are you most grateful for? Beautiful, beautiful. And just a reminder for the Asian Oprah giveaway, a pair of tickets to Beyond Illusion, May 20th at the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills, California. It's going to be an amazing show. I'm going to be there. If you are the first person to go to my website, drmarissa.life, and put in the subject line Beyond Illusion 2, you will receive that pair of tickets. If you are not the winner, you can go directly to the link in the chat in the Saban Theater. If you just Google Beyond Illusion and Saban Theater, I'm sure the link will come up. And until April 15th, if you use the promo code SHAH, you will get a 15% discount on tickets. Let's support the arts. Let's support entertainment, something that has really gone through the ringer. Live entertainment has really, anybody that you know that's a musician, like my twin sister Keiko Matsui, let's go support the arts and get tickets and bring that back to reality and leave the pandemic in the past. All right. And that's it for today. Tomorrow, I have a great guest. Her name is Anna, and I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, but she's a wonderful ancient wisdom. She's a sister from Canada. She's going to have a great show for us tomorrow. So keep it tuned here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and it is all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through, inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room during the pandemic. It's almost over. Go forth and multiply the compliment that you are. Have the best day ever. See you tomorrow.